This is Angela. Welcome to Windows and Waves. I am gonna do another rant about significant others and how they have to deal with this. My ex-husband was in the room when my clinician prescribed the Clonopins the first time, and all the doctor said was that there was a chance of dependency. Anyway, uh, unfortunately, my ex-husband really caught the brunt of my craziness. I once read somewhere somebody on one of the benzo support pages on Facebook said that while under the influence of a benzodiazepine such as Xanax, Ativan, or Klonopin, you're spellbound, which explains a lot of the depersonalization and derealization and the stupid things we do. I know that not everybody did stupid things, but I've been reading more and more stories about people who lost their jobs, lost their families, lost their spouse, became rage monsters, did things that were so not like themselves. That was me. I turned into somebody who is not who I was prior, and was not who I am again. Yes, I have anxiety issues and some depression issues, but I'll tell you what, I'd much rather be me with those issues than that Angela that thought she was gay and left her person, left her other half, left her children, did horrible things. I still get very upset about it. To be completely honest, I did things that were so uncharacteristic to myself, and I hurt so many people in my life, people who mean the most to me. I'm working that out, but it's hard. Um, and one of the hardest parts is watching your significant other or the people who are important in your life deal. You know, they watch you turn into this other person and do these things that they would never have expected you to do, and then you stop doing the drug. You realize that this was because of the benzos, but then you go into withdrawal and they have no idea why you can't get up in the morning, or why you're crying all the time, or why you're always hurting, or why you're afraid to go to the grocery store, or why you avoid doing important things like paying your bills, or I mean, it's just they don't get it, and it becomes frustrating. My ex-husband and I have been divorced now for a couple of years, and like I've said in the past, we live in the same house. He works off-site, pretty far away, about 500 miles north of where we are in Alaska, and is gone for 2 weeks at a time and then comes home for 2 weeks at a time. And I think because of his schedule and because of our kids, it's working. Um, However, I haven't had a job in 6 years. Part of that was because I was staying home with babies, and then I got pregnant and had to stay home with babies some more. But the other part of that is there's no way with my skill sets I would have been able to work. I have a retail management, uh, wedding industry, and municipal administration background. None of those things I would have been able to do in the throes of my recovery. I'm still a little uncomfortable. I mean, I'm applying like crazy now to places, but it's not the same. Um, there's still the fear of working, and it puts a real drag on the household financially. It makes the people around me think that I'm being lazy. And every time I try to explain what's going on, it's getting to the point where it's old. My car is disgusting. My room is pretty messy. I can clean it. It's not nowhere near as disgusting as my car. And I have had a real aversion to cleaning it. Um, and I never used to be like that, ever. I wasn't necessarily the cleanest person in the world, but I kept things, neat and tidy. And now I'm not really. So that's confusing to my ex-husband. He doesn't understand. Our girls need to clean their rooms, and I am not a good example right now of keeping things clean, and um, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand why I am not like I used to be. And when I say, well, I'm pretty much on course for everything, this is not an uncommon thing. You can see in him that he wants to be supportive and believe, but there's another part of him that's just thinking another excuse, using this thing as an excuse again. And it's hard to take. Makes me want to cry a lot, but I am trying really hard to stop that. I don't need to cry all the time anymore. Um, the the only thing I can do is to start to try to change and get back to more and more back to that person. I mean, I am every day, but it's a process and it's slow, and the people in my life are having a hard time dealing with it. I've said on more than one occasion on a couple of the Facebook pages that I am a part of that there needs to be a support group for loved ones. NA has Al Anon for the families, or NA and AA, I should say. But there's nothing for the families of recovering benzo users. And it's got to be so frustrating. So I'm encouraging you to talk to your loved ones. Give them as much information as you can find. There's so much on YouTube. There's so much just on the internet. I mean, you could Google and find great stuff. There is a short student-made documentary called Xanarchy in America, and it's excellent. It's super easy to understand. It's very thorough, and anybody who's been on benzos and has had to come off can understand everything that's being talked about. I really recommend that you sit down with those loved ones, show them these things, let them know that you're not intentionally being lazy or avoiding things. It's that your body is in hell, even though it doesn't look like it on the outside. I think the more understanding the people around you have for what you're going on or for what you're going through, the more you can be able to just keep moving forward and getting better. As soon as I moved back into the guest house at my now ex-husband's house, I started to really feel better. Being around family made me feel better. Being around him made me feel better. I just don't want to be a burden on them, and I'm sure you don't either. So educate. And if they still have issues, then, maybe they don't need to be around you right now. But you are, important to these people, and they're important to you. So make sure they are a part of your process. Sorry about the video, this thing. I'm doing this on my phone for now. That may change. I guess I just feel that it's a little bit more organic. um, anyway, again, this is Angela for Windows and Waves. Please subscribe. There will be more and more content put out over time. A lot of it is going to be these little rants here and there, but then a lot of it will also be topics. I'm doing research on different topics, and I will, have fun like that. Also, I love getting stories or comments. So please feel free to comment down below, or you can email me at windowsandwaves@gmail.com. And that's Windows, the letter N, waves@gmail.com. Awesome. Go hug your loved ones.